Happy Friday, the weekend. Come here, look. It just kind of happened, didn't it? I mean, there we were, behaving ourselves, and then all of a sudden, it's Friday, man. You're very welcome in, guys. Hope you're keeping well. Tonight, well, we're explorers, would you believe? Now, wait till you hear this, right? I figured out me Stream Deck pedals are shagged. I figured it out. It's broken, but I'll try and fix it at some other day. My camera's off kilter right now. Oh, Jesus. Now it's officially crooked. Shh. Right. Don't even press anything. Wait till you hear what we're doing tonight, lads. There's no route. There's nothing here tonight. Wait till you hear this, right? So we'll get started and I'll tell you what it is we're doing. Right, are you ready now? I have to do this manually. 110 years ago today, the 8th of August, back in 1914, a ship called Endurance slipped away from the Plymouth harbour, bound for the edge of the world. At the helm was Sir Ernest Shackleton, an Anglo-Irish explorer with unfinished business in Antarctica. His plan was audacious, to cross the frozen continent from coast to coast via the South Pole. But what followed wasn't a story of reaching a destination. It became one of the greatest survival sagas in human history. Ooh, you thought Apollo 13 was good. Wait till you hear this, right? Tonight, well, we're going to tell that story from the cockpit of our Grumman G-111 Albatross, right here in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. We're going to lift off from a place called Grytviken, or Grytviken. I can't pronounce it, but it's in South Georgia, the lonely harbour that bookended Shackleton's journey. Right? Absolutely banana stuff. Why isn't that moving on? Drive on there now. As we fly, we're going to learn about the man himself, the incredible crew that was aboard, and also the mission that tested every ounce of their endurance. Endurance, right? We're getting very good at this, aren't we? Anyway, we're going to be exploring, and Shackleton's early life, his failed attempts, his knack for leadership, and we're going to meet the personalities aboard Endurance, the sailors, the scientists, and even a stowaway, and follow their expedition from its bold beginnings, pause for effect, into the heart of the Weddell Sea, as we explore the remote sub-Antarctic island. We're going to talk about life aboard the ship, what their duties were, what supplies they had, and the moment everything began to go wrong. We're going to cover the rescue, the fates of the men afterwards, Shackleton's final voyage, and his burial, just a short hop from where we actually are at our starting point tonight.
Oh, behave.
Finally, we're then going to fast forward a century to the mystery of the lost Endurance, and in 2022 a mission to go and find it. So tonight is a journey through history, lads, on this Friday night. Learn about leadership and the raw edge of human endurance. Very interesting stuff, right? Very, very interesting stuff. So we're going to give it a bash and see what happens, right? Anyone who's familiar with the story of Ernest Shackleton, or indeed Endurance, well, this is going to be right up your alley. We've chosen a mad place. We're located at a place called, what's it called? Out near the Sandwich Islands. Brilliant, right? They were looking to get to a place called Elephant Island, which is 800 odd miles to our west, right? 800 miles to our west. My lights turned off now.
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Ah, Jesus, why did they turn off? Who does this stuff? Who's in charge? But anyway, we're here in a place called South Georgia, and I thought South Georgia, you know, I was like, what? He's in America? That doesn't make sense at all. Not at all. It's not America at all. It is out here. It's a British overseas territory, but there's no life here. She'd love it. She'd definitely love it. But right, I mean, they'd enjoy the place. Do you know what I mean? So it'll be interesting. We're having to use landing gear on the water, Murph, or the aircraft won't move. It thinks it's on ice. Change the month or turn off live weather. That'll do it. I'll go through my settings here now in a moment and we see what happens. There are no airports on this island whatsoever. And, well, it's going to be tricky. You'll have to start on the ground. Engines off. Find a beach, perhaps. And, well, then we'll see what happens. We're in uncharted territory, lads. You know, up until, well, not very long ago, this place didn't even exist. It wasn't even known about. It was known to by whalers. And I don't mean the Welsh, right? Whalers, them lads, right? So, yeah, we'll see what the story is, right? But anyway, hope you're all keeping well. There's buttons happening at an alarming rate. I don't know what's going on anymore. Hang on a second. Shameless plug for merchandise. Now things are instantly better. Did you have a week? Sláinte, here's to health and the crack. Oh, Jesus, yeah. I've had a week of it, lads, as you could have imagined. But it's great now because it's Friday. Not too many are given. Insert choice words. Jesus. Streamer bot also updated, so we could be in for a night at the Living Terrace here, lads. But anyway, there's loads of stuff happening. We better jump in and say hello. Shunty Mac Shunface, good to see you. Fierce Wolf is here, looking fierce. And Wolfie, welcome in. Don't knock over your pint. Who else is here? CP65, welcome. Vacuum is in the house. Tarnished Mossman, happy Friday. Super Typhon is here. Welcome aboard. Irish Jet Red, good to see you. Creo, welcome in. One Foxy Bingo Gav. One Gav. Alson, welcome aboard. APU Inspector says the weekend is here. Good evening, Murph and chat. Yes. Lunar Jets, good evening. Mac Vision is here. Viper Strike, welcome aboard. You hear me voice already? Ah, no! It's all ahead of us now. Hang on, I'll do loud noises. Right, now, you didn't hear me scream. Ah, brilliant. The missus probably did, though. She'd be like, are you all right? If Gibbo manages to watch back, I found another one of those. You can't see it. Look, confetti. I'm still finding the shagging things. But anyway, we'll move on abruptly. Viper Strike, hope you're well. He flew the Saab over Afghanistan. Ooh, nice. Muse fan is here. Bursts in the door with his face. Happy Friday, Muse. Hope you're well. Sourdough Man, welcome aboard. 4 months, buddy. Thank you very, very much indeed. Hope you're well. Who else came in the door? Heisenberg, welcome in. Hope all is well. There's no route tonight. It's great crack. Toto2495. Happy Friday to you, Toto. Spitfire RAF 100 is in the chat. Welcome aboard. Commander Balosh is here. 10 streams in a row. What a legend. Welcome in, my dude. Northland Air, welcome in. The Impossible Face, Merry Friday. It's all happening now. Gar Gaming is here from Galway. Welcome aboard, my dude. Velo, good to see you. Malky, welcome. Schutz is here. Captain Mustard, good evening. Tilly Flyer, evening everyone from Clackmannanshire in Scotland. Is that even a place, Tilly? Did you just invent it? Last Friday before my birthday, OMG, that came around fast. Jesus, happy almost your birthday. Good man, Tarnish. Nighthawk is here, good to see you. Heaps are welcome aboard. Daddy Plump is here. Hope it was alright yesterday. Cheers, buddy. Now you can have a beer and relax. Indeed. No route means all nothing since to be gone in a week and a half. Yeah, makes total sense. We're explorers! Tonight. What was his name? Tonight, Martin. It wasn't Martin. What was your man's name? Tonight, I'm going to be your man. You know, who looks like your one. Wait, what? Tonight, Matthew, yes. Tonight, Matthew, we're explorers. Brilliant, right? Anyway, Daddy Plump, you're welcome. Phantom Diablo, welcome aboard. To a one floats or skis. Anything. Doesn't matter what you take. Wicked Lumberjacks is here. Ah, Jesus, happy Friday, he says. From what little I've seen so far, this is going to be an absolutely stunning flight. Yes. It's mad. I've never been here. And I don't know if anyone else has been here. No one's been here before, lads. It's absolute madness. No one's been here. We're in a special place. No one will find us. You know, they won't hear you scream. Mech Mancer, rather. Good to see you. Filthy, welcome aboard. G Slayer's in the house. Welcome in. Hope you're well. Me voice is shagged. Let's get a bit of Dougal music on. Do you know what I'm saying? Makes us start feeling all warm and fuzzy inside. Because it's Friday, do you know what I mean? G Slayer, welcome. Lucky Bow is here. Assidious, welcome in. Proby Pete says, good day from Arizona. Loving me new PC with a 5080, rock solid 60 FPS, and an old LG 4K plus other 2K monitors. Lads, who's pressing buttons that's getting bananas? Proby Pete.
Come on. You're going a bit mad there.
Come on now, Ted. Proby Pete, great to see you. Cyrus T, the man of teal, welcome aboard. Lenny Bobbins, Lenny, welcome aboard. If there's no route, you can't go the wrong way. Excellent thinking. Right? You're doing it wrong, Murph. No. See? Filthy's on to me. Aviator Apollo, where's me? Jesus. Oh, Jesus, I don't know. Who's pressing buttons, lads? It's getting nuts. Level so I can't even read it. I've no... The shagging pedal is shagged. Someone came in and shagged it. I don't know what's wrong with it. It doesn't work at all. And even when you unplug it, you don't get the usual Windows disconnect, oh bother, hardware sound. Nothing! But anyway, Patrick, how are you, Patrick? You're very welcome in. Resonate is here. SK Sun is in the house. Zit, the water is shagged. What? Patrick Doyle is here. This is a brilliant idea for a stream. I'm actually reading the book on Thus at the moment. Fascinating read. Right? Brilliant. Photos by Kev has rambled into the saloon. Welcome in, Kev.
You haven't a clue.
Shut up, you. Motley, welcome in. Rob MCR, 54 months. Thank you very, very much indeed. Jesus, Rob, that's a whole lot of months. It's like 50 plus 4 more. Right. I want sunshine. Now, snow. Wait, what? We're having to use landing gear in the water, Murph. Our aircraft won't move. It thinks it's on ice. Be grand. Be grand, Dougal. Don't worry about it. It's organised chaos. Also, today is International Cat Day. Yep. Make of that as you will. Change the sentence as you will, but it's the International Cat Day.
Oh, Jesus.
We need to have International Murph Day or something. Do you know? Everyone knows a Murph. Everyone knows a Murph. Think about it. There's a Murph somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Maybe they'd buy me treats or, rubber belly or, give us a bit of string to chase. I wouldn't mind that at all. But anyway, we ramble. My uncle was here in the late 1970s, part of a British Antarctic survey. No way, Malky. That's awesome. Adam Controls. Jesus, the button. Adam Controls is here, raiding us with a raiding party of raiders. Welcome in, Adam. I was lurking earlier. And, Jesus, we ran out of buttons fairly quick. And then we kind of dropped it back into second gear to kind of push over the hill. Did I mention it's Friday? Can we just pull up the handbrake for a second and can we just, appreciate Friday has befallen us? What a time to fly. Isn't it great news? Maybe you don't track the days of the week anymore, but you remember what Fridays were all about, What does that mean? I don't know. Tomorrow's Saturday though. Where's this now? Guessing if I'm in 2020, I should go to... I couldn't tell you. Bob Marley. Now let me see. Ronan, good to see you. 6 knots, clear on. Welcome aboard. David is here. Yep, bye. Welcome in, David. David, are you doing controlling later? Resonate, pints all around. Locus is here. Simming Sav, welcome in, Sav. Sean Game, a very happy Friday. Zybok Doc, Jesus, 36 months with Prime. 36 months, still young, Murphy. Zybok Doc calling from Denmark, and hello from Tipperary. Good to see you, man. Luctorious, welcome in. 777, evening from Birkenhead, where we are walking the hounds. Birkenhead Park, no less. Jesus. Good to see you, 777. Goblin Zeus, good evenings. Who else come in? Wills, happy Friday. The weekend starts now. Yes. Fraudhammer, welcome in. Captain Cocktail is here for 11 months. What a legend. Thank you very much indeed, Captain Cocktail. Wicked Wolf is here. Welcome aboard. Balut, 48 months. The mad lad that is Balut. Thank you very much indeed. Sav, Jesus. I nearly bit me tongue with that. Buttons. Simming Sav is here for 3 months. Thank you very much indeed. The ting ran out. The buttons. The night I'm having. Thank you very much indeed, Simming Sav. Aviator Apollo, welcome in. Idle Cutoff. Cambridge calling. Hello from Tipper. I'm after punching me face. Damn me eye. Glasses and me. Good evening. Now we're on to it. Right. I mean, we've things to learn. I have to get very serious now in a while, but for the moment, that's all kind of gone out the window. Where was I? I was over here, look, after I poked myself in the eye. It was Matthew, yes. Wicked Wolf. I broke down and I got on air, and I love it. Yeah, baby. Yeah, on air is brilliant. But yes, Matthew Kelly. You see, Sky Command is here. Now, who is this handsome fella who's graced my screen? And can I purchase one for Christmas? Sky Command. We hate to see you go, but we love to watch you. Do you know? Right. Hope you're well, man. You're looking mighty. Is that a new cologne? Right. It's very fruity. Where's this now? For one for all. Good to see you. Binman is here. Welcome in.
Swing it, baby.
Why is there buttons going? Why is there buttons like it's? We haven't even started yet. Muse fan giving a tier 1 sub to Sky Command. That's 543 gifted subs from Muse fan. Jesus, Muse. Thank you very much indeed. No.
Lie to you. Doesn't matter what I do.
Oh yeah, he pressed it. All right,
She's
right,
got
just
a hold
right.
on me.
Instantly pressed the
She
button.
knows how to drive a truck.
Half the viewers have left.
Lets me pick her up
The other half taking the shirts off.
when we're
What?
going dancing.
Right, quick, concentrate, Murphy. G's there, yes. Wills is here, gifting a tier 1 sub to Go Sammy. Thank you very much indeed, Wills. What a legend. Right, I'll be the desperately looking one. Wait, who? One Fly Air is here. Good to see you. Hang on, Muse. You'll get this. I can't pause it. I can't pause. Oh wait, can I pause it? No, I can't. Muse final. Good morning. He'll get it. My screen has now disappeared. IT services. Oh yeah, that'll be £300. Wait, what? No wonder it doesn't work. Murph has the child kicked out of it, he said. Brilliant. Captain Gaskin, welcome aboard. She watches everything. Welcome in. Two Cats is here. My dude. Hope all is well. Hang on now.
She can let her hair down, but got her feet on the ground.
Good morning.
I can't get enough
Right.
of her.
Right now.
She can drive me so wild.
morning.
Just with
We
that
could probably
sweet
remix,
smiling.
you know, your man.
Nobody else for
10
me.
Yard is here. Thank you very much indeed. 8 months of fun and laughter, he says. The man is a legend. Thank you very much indeed. Hell on Wheels. Nice. I was in the third cab. Oh, nice. I do wear these t-shirts and sometimes, I don't know why, but people may associate me to being in that particular, you know, company or regiment or battalion or whatever. And I'm like, I'm a fan. You know, I like the memorabilia, you know. Also, I learned, I'm doing a bit of research on the L second Armoured. Bloody hell, they're still active. Hello, Second Armoured. They're still doing their thing. But awesome stuff, awesome stuff. Cold Nebo, thank you for the bits. Every Friday is International Murph Day. We'll take it. Hopefully we don't have to clean out your litter box. Brilliant. Tom S94 is here. Good to see you. Where's the hill? The hill? Up over the hill. Then, look at this. Toto gifted 10 tier 1 subs. It's happening. Thank you very, very much indeed, Toto. What a legend, lads. If you just got a tier 1 sub, thanks to Toto. Do be sure to say cheers. Do be cheers to say sure. Yeah, that makes total sense. A broke fought out. Huh? Yeah. There's 2 lads outside now. A broke fought out. Don't you mean a fight broke out? DK is here. Welcome in. I'm over here now somewhere. Look, Kozaki Flyer. I found a flight deck for takeoff. Oh, come on. Remember You Bet? That was a great show. You Bet was a great show. You Bet was awesome, you know. Then Schutz, 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Schutz, thank you very, very much indeed. Lads, if you just got a tier 1 sub, thanks to Schutz, do be sure to say thank you very much. The support is insane tonight. These are all mad. Black Ice Gabe, we have a Black Ice Gabe. I thought you were away for 2 weeks. Did you bring me back a stick of rock? We're going next Wednesday, Gabe. We're going next Wednesday. Locust, good to see you. Who else come in the door now? Did we catch up? Winkle Gassler. I saw what was funny. The Hughes has 8 engines, but I can only set up the throttle for 4. Yeah, I think for like 4. No, 6, I think. Didn't they increase it to 6? I think. All I Want to Be is a Lumberjack. Lumberjack, great song. I don't want to be I don't want to be a weatherman. Flying Topless. Wait, who? Death's Angel, good evening. My shorts are staying on. Who? How did we get onto that? Ryan, good to see you. 23 months. Thank you very, very much indeed, Ryan. The absolute ledge. Who else come in? Hayden UK. Good to see you, Hayden. Hope you're well, buddy. Old Veteran 965. Howdy all. Happy Friday. Hope y'all are having a great day. The way to the weekend. Yes, absolutely. Hello to Texas from Tipperary, Scott. Yes, good morning. Would you please stop bonging the bill? Right, do you know what I mean? Brilliant news. Could you please stop bonging? Jesus! The best line that officer...
Good morning.
I'll turn it up in case you didn't hear it.
Good morning.
I was just bissing by and is when I heard the shit. What did he say? He was passing by when he heard the shot. Brilliant. Survived my UK trip, says 2 Cats. Dropping bike and fuel pump failure. No way. You dropped your bike. Jesus. Was the bike okay? Were you okay? Second thought, might not be a good idea to let Murph drive a tank. I drove a tank before. Right, where's this now? Something's happening for sure. I don't know what's happening. No subs until I get a new card. My last one was subjugated to fraud. No way, Scott. Jesus. Jesus.
Swinger, baby.
Lads, will you calm it? Level 8. Look, that's level 8. Hang on a second. Oh, what the... Oh, my... How do I get back from pressing that button? Balls. Try this one instead. That's the intro to living in America. Well, isn't it? It's adjacent. Living in South Georgia. Ooh. Did I say it's Friday? I did. Big business. No, big business, rather. It's pretty cool you're doing something Shackleton related, since we're getting a Shackleton museum in the local area soon. Oh, nice. Nice, man. Jesus, photos by Kev. Are you alright, Kev? He just gifted 20 tier 1 subs. 20 of them. Kev, you absolute madman. Thank you very, very much indeed. Lads, if you just got a tier 1 sub with thanks to photos by Kev, do be sure to say thank you. The man is a legend. Did you just see what he did? There's buttons. There's more buttons. Shunty McShunface gifting 5 tier 1 subs. What are you doing tonight? Shunty, thank you very much indeed. Legend. Lads, if you just got a tier 1 sub to Shunty McShunface, do be sure to say thank you. That's Mr. Shunty McShunface. But yes, thank you very much indeed, my guy. Sore foot and a bruised ego. Ouch. 2 cats. Ouch. Right, we're over here now, look. Who's in charge? McManser gifted the tier 1 sub to the impossible face. Thank you very much indeed. Who's... We're not going to get anywhere this evening. Look at it. There's a big shadow over me telly, but it's from the sim. Right, come on over to this screen now. We'll get through this very quickly. We're ready. Johnny Mon is in the house. Good to see you, Johnny. Vruden the Great is here. Mrs. TPHI. Black Sheep Jean. The man is stalking us. Vruden is there a second time. Kubi Montana. Maple Leaf is here. Mr. TPHI. Hello. To the Mr. and the Mrs. of TPHI. Hope you're both keeping terribly well. Johnny Mon, are you working or are you off today? Now let me see. Maple Leaf, you're very welcome in, of course. Who else came in the door? Jody Dock is here. Welcome in. Angels15. Happy Friday. Who else come in? Dave Cleary. Legend Dave. Falconer is here. Welcome aboard. Daniel Myers. Welcome in, Daniel. Who else now? Let me see. There's buttons up here, look. Bob Marley's band. Who? What? JP is here. Lamar, welcome aboard. Or is it Lamar Gaskin? I'm waiting to see where taking off from. Tis hard to call now, lads. Tis hard to call. Talro, welcome in. Uniform Goose. Good day, Goose. Hope you're well. Hand-eye coordinated at 0. Yeah. Tom, how are you, Tom? Virtual BBMF. That's the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. Welcome in, my dudes. Joey Mack. Army Ears. Yeah, indeed. Joey, you're welcome in. That's what happens. Ed E is here. Good to see you. NM Flyer, welcome aboard. Beluta, happy flying. Good to see you. You should be grateful that the RAF bombers are still farting for freedom. Brilliant. That's fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Right. The whalers are not from Wales. Correct and right. Boeing 82. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. Should I bring a jacket? You'd want one. Right. I don't have this button, so hang on. I need to press it. Look, it's terribly bad. I used to press a button and then say, right, let's go to this other screen, but I can't now. Is it this one? Yes. See? And then this one. Yes. See? Things never fail. They never fail. Right. Bring our ammunition over here now. Right, lads. Are we ready now as we settle in to this evening's flight, right? To this evening's flight. We've lots to learn and do and learn. Right, now, glad we got that out of the way. So we shall start at the very beginning, because I have notes. Are we ready? On this day in 1914, a ship named Endurance. It left Plymouth in England on a voyage into the unknown. At her helm was Sir Ernest Shackleton, an Anglo-Irish explorer with unfinished business in Antarctica. His goal was to cross the frozen continent from coast to coast via the South Pole. It was at the start of the Imperial Trans-Antarctic Expedition from August 8, 1914, 110 years ago today. Our story will run from the icy Weddell Sea across Antarctica to South Georgia, and tonight we begin at Grytviken, a small bay that witnessed both the start and the end of Shackleton's most famous tale. It became one of the greatest survival stories in exploration history, not because of reaching the destination, but because Shackleton brought every one of his men home alive. Right? Failure happened, but, you know. So we're going to learn all about some stuff as we get going, but I want to point you to our location, lads. This is quite staggering. So this is South Georgia, and it's kind of like a sub-Antarctic island, right? And it just so happens it's absolutely friggin' massive. It's quite a big island, right? And when I flew over here, or when I was looking at satellite terrain and imagery, I was kind of saying to myself, Jesus, there's a lot of detail here, considering there is nothing on the island. There's no towns, no villages, no electricity, except for generators. There's no airports, there's nothing, right? 100 years ago, yeah, it was busy as a whaling station. It's where they'd hunt whales. And you might say, Jesus, Greta would be getting fierce upset about hunting whales, and quite rightfully so. However, you'd be surprised what that whaling station did in terms of helping out, Britain in the war, because they used like whale blubber and oil and all this sort of jazz. Absolute like mad stuff, right? Absolutely mad stuff. So where we are, we're in this little place called Grytviken, and why this place is important, friends. Well, I'm going to tell you now, right? If you look at the old tracks here. And yes, we're using satellite terrain, and there's not much left here. You'll see the old marks of the old whaling station. But if you ramble up here, there's a little cemetery. See that? That's a cemetery. And that is where Sir Ernest Shackleton was buried. Now, right? So that's where he is. So we're going to learn a lot about the area. As I was saying, we've got a couple of people with us on multiplayer. This is going to be fun. If you don't know what to fly anything. You can start in the air, start in the ground, or try and figure out somewhere in which you can take off from. Because I need to show you this, lads. Wait till you see this, right? South Georgia. So, looking at the old area where we are, right? We're out in the middle of friggin' nowhere. There would be Antarctica. There would be the Falklands, and this is where we are over here. South Georgia. So this is the entire island where we are, right? And as I said, there's not much out here, right? We're up here at this place called Grytviken, right? And that's where he was buried. And if we zoom in here to the cemetery, look. This is what the actual cemetery looks like. Isn't that quite mad? Quite mad. And I'd say that one there, that's Ernest Henry Shackleton. That's his grave there, right? Isn't that incredible? And you can see how well a job the sim is doing, considering, like, there is nothing here. It has the kind of barrels, it has the ruin of what once was a whaling station. But that's it, lads, right? Nothing else there. So there's other people buried here, of course, but what I want to do, we're going to start from here, right? King Edward Point, that's our exit point, funny enough. And what we can do, I'm thinking of heading kind of, well, we have a choice, right? We can head north or we can head south. My plan, I think we're going to head south. Keep the island to our right-hand side as we explore all the way down around here, right? Because there are some absolutely magnificent peaks, rocks, cliff faces, mountains, the whole shebang. And we're just going to kind of fly around the place and explore it. There could well be possible landing areas or locations somewhere on the terrain. So we're going to have to figure this one out. Can we land there safely? Water landings are an option because we've taken the G-111. What's that? Look, that's an iceberg. Look, there's an iceberg after drifting in. So we can find perhaps maybe some bays, beaches, or just anywhere we can find somewhat flat terrain for any of the fixed wing aircraft that are with us. Looking around the place, I mean, there's definitely looking at the place, there's some definite possibilities. You can say, yeah, you'd probably chance it on that beach or a bit of a pathway or something like that, right? Bird Island Station, again, you've Johnson Cove there, but that looks all rocky. So we're very much in exploration mode, right? Exploration mode. So I'm looking forward to this. So my sim settings, just so if we all follow the same suit, right? I have it on live weather. Sorry, I have it on the live date. It's August 8, 2025. Local time is 09:57, and I've just gone with a few clouds. I'm using, like, you can go live weather for sure, but it just turns the place ice everywhere, and you know what I mean? We won't see much. So by turning that off, but we can see a lot more. That makes sense? But by all means, if you'd like to fly and the place covered in snow, brilliant. You won't see much. A lot of the scenery is going to be covered in on you. You know what I mean? So, with that said, we are in a G-111. I actually started her off there up on the little hill up, and I'll just slew myself into the water. We're going to take off, and as we were saying, when we depart out of here, we'll fly out of the bay here, King Edward Bay, and we'll scoop around to the right and fly around at the back of those massive peaks there. With the plan of looking for places to land, you guys are going to need to help, right? If someone finds a place suitable to land to get the fixed-wing aircraft down, you're going to have to let us know. We're going to have to try and navigate to it. And all the while, we're going to be learning about Ernest Shackleton, but also the ship, Endurance, the entire expedition, what it was, what happened, where it happened, and all that sort of jazz. So we're going to be learning all of that about that. I've footage here to show you as well. So it's a Friday night to just sit down, relax, grab an ale beverage. If you're flying along with us, we're definitely going to have some fun with the scenery. It's going to be a challenge. And if you're not flying along, well, hopefully this will keep you entertained, right? Brilliant. Mostly, yeah. So in terms of like life on the island, there's nothing here. It's mad, right? It's absolutely mad. So here we are. Let's get into our aeroplane. We're going to push ourselves forward here and just drop ourselves into the water. And we're going to get ourselves up and running here, right? So we shouldn't have too much worries when it comes to the wind and all this. If I can deploy the anchor, that will hopefully stop us from moving. And we haven't flown this machine in a little while. Great machine. We did an entire Monday night series on this thing. So we're going to start getting the machine into action. So batteries coming on. We don't have external power. Strobe lights can come on. Oil dilution are all okay. Primers start. They're all grand. Up on top here, we have our fuel shut-off valve. Mags come to both. Fuel goes to right main. You can do it. I think they're right. We could be wrong here now. Fuel boosters activate. Avionics leave it off for the moment. And yeah, the wind is blowing us, so we shall see what happens. So prop lever full, mixture full. There's a throttle. And let's start the right side first, and that'll correct our position, we would hope. All right. So come on down here. We're going to prime. Try a start. There's live. And we're going to do the same to the left. This is one of these aircraft that needs better sounds, you know what I mean? But I think that's going to happen in Sim Update 3. Alright, there's the left coming up. If we give the right a bit of power, that'll help turn us. Lovely. Alright, we continue on with other bits and bobs. We have our avionics up here. Rudder boost turned on as well. Jeez, the noise. Right, get everything closed up. Lovely. And we're going to use our props to get us out of trouble here. Forward on one, reverse on the other. Don't worry about the other boats. Alright, going to set flaps for takeoff. Gregor, there's no route. You have to navigate yourself to South Georgia. It's an island. And let's see what happens from there, right? Also, I'll fire up some Join FS here as well, lads. Get our landing rate turned on as well. And, well, hopefully, everything here looks fairly decent, right? All right. I think we're looking good. Everything looks to be looking good. Right, friends, no time for hanging around. Let's get... Oh, Jesus. Let's get this thing airborne. Are we ready? Up, Velvet. Any cats about? Blue Star, good to see you, buddy. All right. Power coming in. Now, I imagine... Can I hop out? No. Shh. You saw nothing? Every feckin' time. Man. Every time I do it. Right, we're around.
They've done studies, you know.
Really?
60% of the time, it works every time.
Everything shut down. Grand. Right, we're going. Yup. Now surely we can just drive this into the water and then gear up. Wouldn't that be right? Yes. Right, now we're on the road. Easy now. Alright, upsy daisy. There we go. Alright. Up out of the bay we go, friends. Round to the left. When you slew, the engine shut down. Another wonderful feature. Yeah. Brilliant, isn't it? Rian is here.
Big easy.
Listen, lads, I do the stupid things so you don't have to, right? Easy now, Jemima. Easy now. If you had a CTD, lads, try not to fret. We'll be a while before we get going anyway, so let's see what happens. All right, look at this. Loads of folks trying to get airborne. This is mad, isn't it? We've picked an absolutely mad location tonight, so we're going to head out to the old bay here, right? And then we're going to turn right once we get out of here. That's King Edward's Point, it's called. So let's... Jesus, look at the state of this place. Alright, so I want my autopilot to play along here, so... Flight director, altitude, 2,000 feet is going to be plenty. Heading mode, lock, and lock. Heading, autopilot, and 2,000 feet. Lovely hurdling. Alright. We're looking good. Things are actually happening. Right, friends, if you're currently flying along with us, Xbox pilots press 1. If you're on the PC, press 2. JoinFS and Skynet pilots press 3. And for everyone else who's wondering, where did the last hour go? How does he manage to do these things? Will you press number 4? Hello, Fireflies. Welcome to the Flying Circus. We live stream every day. Oh, the thoughts of it! Right here. All right. So we're currently holding at around 150-ish knots. So I might bring that power back another little smidgen, lads. My landing lights can come off. Fully retract those. 25 in the PC, and we got a couple on JoinFS and Skynet. Nice. Okay, so about 150. Is that okay-ish speed, lads? Yeah? Let me know. We can drop her back a small little bit. So remember, there's no flight plan. There's no, right, we're landing here, we're landing there. We need to figure this one out ourselves, right? And that's what kind of makes tonight kind of cool. It's quite different than what we usually do. Because, friends, tonight we are the explorers, right? So, well, let's start learning a little bit about all of this. As I said, 110 years ago today, the ship Endurance slipped out from the Plymouth harbour and off she went. The man at the helm was that of Sir Ernest Shackleton. Now, Ernest Shackleton, born in 1874 in a place called Kilkee in County Kildare in Ireland. Right. At the age of 10, his family moved over to London. And by the age of 16, restless for adventure, he joined the Merchant Navy, earning his master's certificate by the age of 24. Now, what's kind of interesting, when it comes to Shackleton, it was said down through the years by people who knew him, he always had this kind of drive in him to do things. You know, he entered politics, it didn't work. He tried business, failed. Then he went into the whole, explorer. It was the age of exploration, right? Because he had this kind of drive in him. You know, in London, when he was in school in London, he was treated, well, fairly bad, right? I mean, he had an Irish accent. That didn't help. He sounded strange to his friends. When he got a little bit older, he didn't have the third level college, right? He didn't have all of these things. So he always felt that he was kind of disadvantaged when it came to kind of social and societal things. This kind of gave him this kind of never ending drive to try and do things. And it's many things that he did try and do, well, he failed miserably at them, right? However, he was exceptionally good when it came to the Navy, right? His first taste of Antarctica was all the way back in 1901. He sailed with Robert Falcon Scott on the Discovery expedition, reaching further south than anyone had before. But illness forced him home. He was declared unfit. He was absolutely distraught about this because he was, cleared as medically unfit. That kind of hurt him a bit, but he didn't kind of rest on his laurels. 6 years later, Shackleton led the Nimrod expedition, pushing to within 97 nautical miles of the South Pole, the farthest south of the era. He turned back to save his men from starvation, a decision that defined his reputation for putting crew safety first, and for this, he was knighted. Shackleton could have easily pushed the lads. He could have easily said, look, we're so close, let's just go for it. Like 97 miles in the general scheme of things was nothing. He said no. He knew, had he pushed any further south, his men would have died. They'd have been shagged. So, and you don't usually get that from, famous figures or famous leaders, where their number one prime concern is the crew more so than the objective. The crew is the objective. You don't always hear about that. I mean, we hear about all these great leaders, great generals, great this, great that. It's rarely focused on the crew. You know what I mean? Which is mad interesting. After he was knighted, there was unfinished business. After Amundsen and Scott had claimed the pole, Shackleton set his sights on a new prize. So, Edmondson and Scott made it to the South Pole, but Shackleton had a different idea. He wanted to be the first to cross the continent itself. Away from the ice, Shackleton dabbled in politics and business, but neither stuck. His true stage was that of the frozen South. So, his mission was simple. He was going to sail down. Where's my camera? I'm there yapping without a camera. His mission was he was going to sail down to the South Pole, and he was going to cross over the continent on foot. That was the mission, right? That's what he was going to do, right? Madness. Absolute madness. So, the Endurance. What do we know about her? Well, I've more information over here. Some trivia here for you guys. Does anyone know where the Endurance was built? Where was she built? Does anyone know? You should have read chat. I can't. My screen that has me chat has me notes. Oh Jesus! Look, we're heading towards the mountain. Hang on, we fix this. Left turn, lads. Left turn. I'm catching up with the chat here now. Look. Anyway, I was waiting for you to tell us. Yeah. Okay, right. Good stuff. Anyway, she was built in a place called we've flown there, Sandfjord in Norway. Right, that's where it was built. She was built specifically for this. It had a hardened hull, right? It was a three-masted Barocatine, I think that's how you pronounce it, in which Sir Ernest Shackleton and a crew of 27 men sailed for the Antarctic on the 1914 to 1917 Imperial Trans-Antarctic Expedition. The trip was originally named Polaris, was built for the Fram shipyard and launched in 1912 from Sandefjord in Norway. One of her commissioners, the Belgian Adrian de Galache, went bankrupt. The remaining one sold the ship for less than the shipyard had charged, but as Lars Christensen was the owner of Polaris, there was no hardship involved. The ship was bought by Shackleton in January 1914 for the expedition, which would be her first voyage. Interesting stuff. Captain Sickbag is here. Good to see you. Welcome in. Right, we should be up and running now. We should be firing on all cylinders, lads. Look at the size of this feckin' bay here. Jesus, look at this. Look at this state. Look. Like wild, barren wilderness, lads. That's where we are, right? That's where we are. We'll go over these mountains over here, look, right? If you gave me a few more minutes, I was going to say that answer. Absolutely, Mr. TPHI. It was on the tip of your tongue. Yes. So that was the ship. And again, this is from Wikipedia. But if you've ever seen the ship, that's her there, right? Endurance was the name of it, right? Now, I don't go down too far. That was it at night time. Beautiful, right? Beautiful. And just 2 years after Titanic, right? Just 2 years later. But anyway, the crew of Endurance. A leader is nothing without the right team. And Shackleton assembled some of the toughest men alive. Frank Wild, second in command, an Antarctic veteran of 4 expeditions. Frank Worsley, he was the captain. He was also a master navigator. Tom Crean, Irish seaman, hero of Scott's expeditions, legendary for endurance sledding. Frank Hurley was the photographer. His glass plates would be immortalised, showing this journey. Harry McNish, the ship's carpenter, would later transform a lifeboat into an ocean-worthy vessel. Alexander Macklin and James McElroy were the surgeons. Leonard Hussey was the meteorologist and a banjo player, a one-man morale department, a bit like Muse. Pierce Blackborough, a teenage stowaway turned steward. 28 men in total, sailors, scientists, tradesmen, united by a love of adventure and perhaps a touch of madness. So we mentioned a stowaway, right? This is fascinating. Are we ready now? Pierce Blackborough, or Blackborough, right? He was a Welshman. Blackborough and his friend, William Lincoln Blackwell, travelled to Buenos Aires looking for new employment. There, Bakewell was taken on as an able seaman by Shackleton's ship Endurance, which was en route to the Antarctic. But Blackborough was not hired. At the age of 18, his youth and inexperience counted against him. Fearing that Endurance was short-handed, Blackwell and Walter Hoe helped Blackborough sneak on board. They hid him in a locker amongst piles of clothing. On the third day at sea, once there was no reasonable possibility of turning back, the stowaway was discovered. Unable to stand, Blackborow had to remain seated in a chair when he met Ernest Shackleton for the first time. Apparently, in a fit of genuine rage, Shackleton subjected the stowaway to a most severe and terrifying tirade in front of the entire crew. This had the desired effect, and the reactions of the two accomplices were enough to unmask them. Shackleton finished his performance by saying to Blackborow, "Do you know that on these expeditions we often get very hungry, and if there is a stowaway available, he is the first to be eaten?" To which Blackborow replied, "They'd get a lot more meat off of you, sir." Shackleton hid a grin, and after chatting with one of the crew members said, "Introduce him to the cook first." Right? Brilliant. Brilliant Welshman. "Plenty of eating on you, sir." Right? Anyway, Blackborow proved an asset to the ship as a steward and was eventually signed on. Right, we'll go back to him a little bit later, right? I read the book about this travel. P.S. Miranda, no way. Yeah, they were so different back then. There was no walk. There was no long walk off a short plank or any of that messing, you know what I mean? Now, we're just kind of touching the coastlines here for the moment. We will head inland soon, lads. But we're just trying to get some bearings. We're kind of heading down towards the very south of this island, which is just down here. Then we'll hang a right, all right? Check is your fuel. Make sure all is okay. Right, so where am I? I'm over here, look. So the mission, the conception and preparation. The Imperial Trans-Antarctic Expedition, well, it was ambitious to say the least. Land on Weddell coast, sledge 1,800 miles across the South Pole to the Ross Sea. Link up with the Ross Sea Party, who would lay depots from the opposite side. They sent a second ship, right? So the idea was, where's my map, Smurf? The idea was, right. So the South Pole, Jesus, roughly in there. Do we even have a picture of it? South Pole, see locations. Antarctica, yes. South Pole. Hang on, I'll get you a route of it. Here we are here, look. So, here you have the South Pole right slap bang in the middle. The idea was that we're going to come in the Weddell Sea and then header on down to Ross's Sea. So by doing so, they sent a different ship around the way, and the idea was we're going to leave depots every couple of 100 miles, food, replenishments, resupply, all that sort of stuff, right? When they got to the far side. That was the idea, right? That was the idea. It didn't go terribly well. It was 1914. War had just broken out in Europe. Shackleton offered his men and ships to the Admiralty, right? Prior to going, war broke out, and Shackleton said, right, well, we have a ship and we have men. He got on to the Admiralty, do you need them? And Winston Churchill spoke to him directly and said, no, you proceed what you're doing. Right, so Churchill actually gave him the green light to go on. The ship Endurance, 144 feet long, built in Norway, ice strengthened, but made of wood, headed off. The supplies they had slayed dogs, food for up to 3 years, rifles, tents, scientific gear, coal, oil, medical kits, and Hurley's camera plates. Each man had their own duties whilst on board. They were kind of multi-role. Navigation, maintenance, science observation, dog handling, feeding, cooking, medical care, all ready to carve a path through the last great blank space on the map. And like some of the duties, right? I mean, if you could, you know, you can imagine what would some of the duties, what would they have been, right? Your job today would be, you know, maintaining the sails, Your job tomorrow is sweeping the floors or washing the floors. Your job the next day could be the ropes, could be the dogs. And they had a lot of dogs with them. One of the stowaways, of the Welshman, right? He also had a cat. Where's Mr. Chippy? Right? Here's Pierce Blackborough. But he also brought on his cat. His cat's name was Mrs. Chippy. Mrs. Chippy. Isn't that mad? Mrs. Chippy, right? Does Mr. Chippy know that? We don't know. Look, we don't know. So, like the food they would have had back then, various breads, powdered milk, right? They had a good supply of meat, a good supply of vegetables. Biscuits were very big to them, back as in the old day biscuits, like big oatmeal stuff, right? Duff Man is here, good to see you. Sugar, of course, salt, peppers, condiments, all the kind of stuff. They were all the norm, right? And enough of it for 3 years. They even had various teas. They had cocoa, right, for drinking. And they also had, rum and all this sort of stuff as well, right? But yeah. So, what happened? They're all set. The crew, Shackleton. We know the time. But what happened? Well, they departed out of Buenos Aires, and they were heading straight to Grytviken, South Georgia, exactly where we just started off from, on the 5th of December 1914. And from there they headed into the Weddell Sea. Right? By the time they were heading, they were slightly ahead of winter closing in properly. There was a very small window in which they could have done this, and Shackleton said, no, yeah, we're doing it, push forward. So that's what happened, right? So they had to break through the ice. Movement was quite slow. Weather wasn't too bad, but it was cold, right? Cold. On the 18th of January, right? That's like 5 weeks later, disaster struck. The ship became trapped in pack ice. The Antarctic summer faded, and with it, the chance to break free, the drift began. So the ship got stuck in the ice. And you're talking tons and tons of ice. When it's drifting, some of it moves up, some of it moves down. If you get trapped, if you get stuck, you're shagged. They spent days and days trying to dig their way out and trying to pull the ship one direction. Bit of wind might push the sails a different direction. It's not going to happen, right? For months, the men lived aboard the frozen ship. The idea was, we'll wait it out. They exercised. The dogs, they were hunting seals and penguins, keeping routines alive. Temperatures plunged, the ice pressed even harder. What was interesting as well, and Shackleton was a big kind of part behind this, entertainment and morale was of very high importance. The lads used to perform once a week. They used to have tea drinking, post to their wives and good health once a week. They had all these little events to keep them busy and kind of work through, they could play football, right? They had a football with them. They could, those who do a bit of hunting, keep up with the science stuff, weather reports, stars and all this kind of jazz. But they were very much snookered. They were stuck with where they were, and the idea was they were going to try and wait it out, right? December is summer down there. As ice comes in, you see it's mad, the weather down there. I heard that eating raw penguins was prescribed by the ship's doctor to prevent scurvy. Some of the stuff they ate back then, like seal blubber, was very sweet. The lads, they actually enjoyed that quite a lot. Dennis C, thank you very much indeed. If I keep hearing donating for beer, I won't have enough for me add-ons. Thank you very, very much indeed, Dennis. Welcome in. Epic Fool is here as well. Good to see you, buddy. Hope all is well. Dennis, you absolute legend. $20 donation. Cheers, man. Appreciate it, buddy. And, I hope you're well. Think of the food they had to eat. So they'd ration what they had, obviously, but penguins and seals, whatever fish they can come across, of course. You know what I mean? But yeah. Jesus, look at this. Look at that, look. Ah, lads, isn't that absolutely stunning, isn't it? We are exploring in a part of the world you just don't see in flight sims. There is no traffic down here at all. And it's stunning.
behave.
Duffman, thank you very much indeed. Welcome to Flight Crew, my guy. Oh, lads, look at this. That looks insane. Mad. Isn't it mad looking? It's absolutely gorgeous. Right, where am I? I'm over here, look. Let us have a look. So we're going to continue now. We've just passed the south, or the most southern point of the island. We're going to head up now. It's kind of west coast, if you like, right? And yeah, seals. Plenty of seals down there. Plenty of seals. So yeah, it got kind of stuck, and they lived there for months. For months they lived there. The groans of timber and the grinding of ice became constant companions. The expedition's goal was slipping away, and the worst was yet to come. So what had happened? Because of the ice drifts, the ship started to get pushed up and over to one side, and it was compressing, it was pushing against the sides of the ship, right? And naturally it caused absolute catastrophic damage, right? Catastrophic damage. So where are we here? Go down to endurance. So I'll show you some pictures here, right? So that's her stuck in the ice, lads, right? Not only did they take pictures, they actually recorded a lot of this. Because they had that they had a cameraman with them, they had a photographer with them. And of course, when you're doing one of these, think of it back then, from Shackleton's point of view, you're going to bring the latest and greatest when it comes to technology, be it, you know, weather readings, scientific stuff, but also photography. And at this time, they were known as moving pictures. Moving pictures, right? Absolutely crazy. So the ship started to list badly, leaning to one side, and this put immense pressure on the structure. Immense pressure. The masts collapsed, and they had to abandon ship. And by doing so, abandoning ship, they had to get all their stores off. You're right, and you're talking food, dogs, all the crew, equipment, clothing, right? And the plan then, the entire outlay of the mission was no longer, we're now going to complete the mission, we're without a ship, we're now in trouble, we need to get out of here, we need to try and get to safety, right? Shackleton gave the order to abandon ship, and they set up camp on the ice, then on shifting floes, before making a desperate dash in 3 open boats. We're going to get to all of that now in a moment, because at this stage, right, the drift. Navigational observations showed that the ship and the mass of the pack ice that contained her was still moving, but now swinging towards the west-northern or west-northwest and increasing the speed of its drift, moving 130 miles It was moving like at 10 kilometers a day sort of stuff. On July 14th, 1915, Endurance was swept by a southwest gale, wind speeds of about 70 miles per hour, a barometer reading of 28.8 inches of mercury, that's 978 hectopascals, that's low pressure, and temperatures falling to minus 36 degrees Celsius. The blizzard continued until the 16th of July. This broke up the pack ice into smaller individual floes, each of which began to move semi-independently under the force of the weather, while also clearing water in the north of the Weddell Sea. This provided a long fetch for the south setting wind to blow over them, for the broken ice to pile up against itself, while individual parts moved in different directions. This caused regions of intense localized pressure in the ice field. The ice began working, with sounds of breaking and colliding ice audible to those on the ship through to the next day. Breaks in the ice were spotted, but none approached the ice holding the Endurance. During July, the ship drifted a further 160 miles to the north, and on the morning of the 1st of August, a pressure wave passed through the floe holding the ship, lifting a 400-ton Endurance bodily upwards and heaping the ship sharply to her port side before she dropped into a pool of water. Afloat again for the first time in nearly 6 months. The broken sections of floe closed in and around the ship on all sides, jarring the Endurance forward, backwards and sideways, in violent fashion against the other slabs of ice. After over a quarter of an hour, a force from astern pushed the ship's bow up onto the floe, lifting the hull out of pressure and with a list of 5 degrees to her port side. A gale overnight further disturbed the floe, driving it against the starboard side of the hull and forcing a sheet of ice upwards at a 45-degree angle until it reached the level of the scuppers. Despite the ordeal over the past few days, the ship remained undamaged. 2 pressure waves struck the ship on the 29th of August without incident, but on the evening of the 31st of August, a slow building pressure gripped the Endurance, causing her hull and timbers to creak and shudder continuously. The ice around the ship moved and broke through the night, battering the port side of the hull. All was quiet again until the afternoon of the 30th of September, by which time there were signs of spring, with 10 hours of sunlight per day and occasional temperature readings above freezing. A large floe was swept against the Endurance port bow, then gripped that side of the ship against the built-up ice and snow on her starboard beam. The ship's structure groaned and racked under the strain, and carpenter Harry McNish noted that the solid oak beams supporting the upper deck were being visibly bent like a piece of cane. On the deck, ship masts were whipping back and forth as their stepping points on her keel were distorted. Despite these signs, Worsley noted that the strength of the ship's structure was causing the ice itself to break up as it piled against the hull. By October, temperatures of up to nearly -2 degrees were recorded, and the ice showed further signs of opening up. The floe against the ship's starboard side broke up on the 14th of October, casting the Endurance afloat in a pool of open water for the first time in 9 months. On October 16th, Shackleton ordered steam to be raised so the ship could take advantage of any openings in the ice. It took nearly 4 hours for the boilers to be filled with fresh water melted from the ice, and then a leak was discovered in one of the fittings and they had to be pumped out, repaired and then refilled. The following day, a lead of open water was seen ahead of the ship. Only one boiler had been lit and there was insufficient steam to use the engine. All the sails were set to try and force the ship from loosening from the pack ice, but without success. The lads had to pump for 3 days, non-stop. And there was no such thing as like electrical bilge pumps. These are hand-driven pumps. 3 days, the crew, non-stop. Didn't work. In the late afternoon of October 18th, the ice closed in and around Endurance once again, and in just 5 seconds, the ship was canted over to port by 20 degrees, and the list continued until she rested at 30 degrees, with the port bulwark resting on the pack and the boats on the side nearly touched the ice as they hung on their davits. After 4 hours, the ice drew apart and the ship returned to a level keel. The ice was relatively still and rest for the remaining of the month. On October 20th, steam was raised again and the engines tested. On October 24th, the damaged ship was racked by further pressure waves, pinning her between both floes. A large mass of ice slammed into the stern, tearing the stern post away from the hull planking. The bow planking was stove in, causing simultaneous flooding in the engine room and also the forward hold. Amid temperatures of minus 22.5 degrees in the morning to minus 27 in the evening, Shackleton gave the order to abandon ship on the 27th of October at around 5 p.m. The position of abandonment was 69 degrees 05 south, 51 degrees 30 west. During the course of the next day, parties were sent back to the ship to recover more supplies. They found the entire port side of Endurance had been driven inwards and compressed, and the ice had entirely filled the bow and stern sections. Only one of the 6 cabins had not been pierced by the flow. Shackleton wrote that the entire aft of the ship had been crushed concertina fashion. The forward motor engine was pushed into the galley, and the gasoline cans stacked on the deck were pushed through the deckhouse halfway into the wardroom. The ship's blue ensign was hoisted up her mizzen mast, so she would, in Shackleton's word, go down with colours flying. Jesus. She sank, right? But the lads had to stay going. Mad, isn't it? Terrain. You looking at her here? Good man, Dougal. Hang a left here now. We're nearly at the halfway point of where we kind of departed from. Keep your eyes out for a landing spot, chaps. We're going to try and land here. Look at it, though. Isn't it just... It's beautiful here, isn't it? It's beautiful here. Right, we're nearly there. Do. So. Drift of Endurance. Camping on the ice. We got to that. So, a lifeboat journey to Elephant Island. So they set up various camps along the way, because the idea was try and get to Elephant Island. The thought being we need to get to land, and Elephant Island was the closest bit of land there, right? And this is way you're back on Antarctica now. You're back on that frozen ice shelf. So Elephant Island was the closest to it, right? So the idea was they were going to bring the lifeboats with them, and they were going to try and set sail and get out to Wellington Island, which they did, but it took them a long time to get there. And you can imagine it, lads. Like, they had a bit of a compass, gyros and all that stuff back then, forget about it. You know, I mean, they were battling the weather. They were now running low on supplies. They made the decision. They knew they couldn't keep feeding the dogs. Naturally, that was the end of the dogs. They ate the dogs. Mrs. Chippy, right, the poor old devil. Mrs. Chippy, the stowaway, she didn't make it either, because they were now running out of food. And at sea, I mean, like, all the camps they had set up, at that stage, they had exhausted their supplies. It wasn't possible to be going hunting every day and try and catch seal or penguins or otherwise, right? I mean, they were in bad old condition, you know? I see a house down there. Britain DC is here. Good to see you, buddy. Or if you're a gorgeous human being, hope all is well, my dude. Thank you so very, very much indeed, Britain. Hope you're well, buddy. 18 months, look, Jesus. Jesus, Johnny Mon, turn. The super chat donation telling me to turn. Thank you very much. Right. What do we reckon? The bay back here, lads. Let's go for it. Autopilot off. Look out, lads. We're going to attempt a landing. Now, for anyone in fixed-wing aircraft, there is a bit of a shelf down there. Could be worth it, right? It could be worth a punt. Let's see what happens. Yeah, there's beaches there near a glacier. Right, well, let's see what happens here. We'll drop some flaps here, Rug. Ice, plenty of ice, plenty of snow. This bay looks a little bit inviting, especially see that low... Jesus. See the low land up here on the left? Or even dead ahead, that looks to be a somewhat gentle-looking beach, right? Dan Gaming, we're down at a place called South Georgia. There are no airports here. Where we're going, we don't need airports. Now, again, this is where Flight Sim 24 really comes into its own, because you can't just say, sure, it'll be grand. Whatever about a water landing, but if you're going to try... Now, to me, that looks all right. In actual fact, there are rocks there, but I reckon that'll be doable. Let's try a friggin' an actual landing, right? Easy now. I reckon it's possible, lads. So our amphibians or flying boats, you're laughing, because we have a nice calm bay here. There's a bit of a beach over here on our left as well, but I'm going to try this. What's the worst that could happen? Yeah, 100%. Right, let's see what we can do here, friends, will we? Easy does it now, Jemima. Alright. Jesus, it's not as lovely and smooth as I thought it was. But we're committed. Let's see what we can do, right? Oh, there's millions of rocks. Of course there is. Ooh. It actually isn't too bad, apart from the rocks. It's actually doable. Darren McGannon, good to see you. I was brought up in Kilkee, a few houses away from Shackleton's. Nice, man. There's a new museum opening up in November in Athy. Oh, sweet. I nailed the heli. Well done. Thanks, Ed. You know me. Right, they're reversers. Right, back her up there, Fenton now. Right, let's sit tight. What do you reckon, lads? We got plenty of lads after touching down. Oh, heaps of, that's how you do it. Land on the water and then just taxi up. The man's a genius. Wombat's coming in. He's thinking about it. Sweet. So they then headed for Elephant Island. And hundreds of miles away. They got there. They got to the island before, or just at nightfall, so they couldn't land on the island until the next day. They set up camp, and they soon realised there are no whaling stations, and food is in very short supply. Some days they'd find seals or, sea lions or all this jazz and penguins. Other days, not at all. So Shackleton then said, right, I need to do a rescue mission. His idea for that... Go on, Muse fan! His idea for that rescue mission was to take a couple of lads with him by boat and not go, not head to the west. Here's Elephant Island. Not head west to kind of like the Falklands or any of that. Elephant Island is just here. And they set off from here. You can see where the trail was, look. I'll zoom in here now to give you a better idea, look. So that's where they got trapped. And this is when they headed across on foot. Then they went out this way. Elephant Island. What they needed to do was get back to South Georgia, because they knew there was a whaling station, and the idea was if Shackleton could get up there, he could raise the alarm, get a rescue mission, and then head her on back down the way. That was some 800 miles away. 800 miles away. So out of the 3 lifeboats, with the chippy that they had, they, made one very good ocean-going lifeboat that had like a canvas over it. They brought enough supplies, food and supplies with them, and they left the main party on Elephant Island. And there was 5 or 6 in the boat, 5 at Shackleton, I think, and they rambled on this route heading back. They faced gale force, storms, horrendous weather, how they managed to find that island, considering the winds, the drift, using a compass. You're near the pole, so you're going to have magnetic shift. Like, how they actually managed to pull this out, like, unbelievable. Unbelievable, right? Just, like, frightening stuff. So, where is she now? You'll see there's Shackleton. That's when they were trying to free the ship from ice. Look. Like, just incredible stuff. The dog's getting loaded off Endurance before she sank. There's Hurley and Shackleton. The interior of South Georgia. Look at the photograph. Like, look, that's it back then. That's what we're looking at in our sim now. Isn't that absolutely nuts? Isn't it nuts? Where's the boat now? What was... They named that little boat. The James Caird, it's called. Or Caird. The Voyage of the... This is her there, look. Well, yeah, there was five or six, I think, on board. Isn't it mad? So I think that boat is... I think that boat is still... It is. It's in South London. Look at that. Isn't that amazing, isn't it? Absolutely amazing, right? So where are we looking at here now? We're looking at... I want to show you this here now as we grab a nail cup of tea. Do. Where is it now? This is it here. So I'll show you some of the footage here. This is absolutely mad looking, lads. Have a look at this, right? There's no music or that to listen to, but just have a look at some of the actual footage here. It's absolutely incredible, this, right? Incredible stuff. Sounds like boss music. You've 10% health and no grenades. Isn't it only mad, right? So yeah, in this part, as you can see, this is where they're getting out to Elephant Island. And from there, then the decision was, right, we need to head her on and actually get us to safety, right? It's amazing that we have footage like that to this day. Look like dinner running away, right? Right, so we're going to depart from where we are now, friends. And we shall continue on. Check is your fuel. And we continue on. Oopsie daisy. Right, let's see what happens here. Off the brakes. And let's see what happens. We have the advantage of being an amphibian, so into the water we go. Spludge. Gears up. Alright, let's go for it. Alright, Dan, don't worry. Done! Done! Alright, airspeed coming up. There's 60 knots. Gently. If we're at 75. Oopsie daisy. Alright. Beautiful. There's Cyrus in a chopper. Alright, we're going to get ourselves back on course, heading now up towards the north of the island, and then we'll make our way across the land. So, Shackleton and a few of the lads headed across. Let's get ourselves back up to where we need to be. Autopilot, altitude. Let's go VS. Add a lure. Right, what am I after here? So the crew salvaged what they could. A small party led by Shackleton set sail in the James Caird for distant South Georgia, hoping to return in a few weeks to rescue the others. Now, we remember our friend Pierce Blackborough, the stowaway, yeah? the toes of Blackborough's left foot, because, you know, they were in the water, they're in freezing cold water for so many weeks, he ended up getting frostbite on his left foot. So when Shackleton and his team were away, headed off to South Georgia, assisted by James Macklin amputated the toes of Blackborough's left foot using chloroform and anaesthesia. Greenstreet described the operation. Blackborough had all the toes on his left foot taken off, a 1/4-inch stumps being left. The poor beggar behaved splendidly and it went without a hitch. Time from start to finish, 55 minutes. When Blackborough came to, he was cheerful as anything and started joking directly. What? Just what a character, right? He got frostbites. What are you going to do, right? That's usually game over, ball burst, right? So as Shackleton is trying to make it back to here, to South Georgia, the guys back on Elephant Island were going through all sorts of hell, right? Now where we are at the moment, see this region here? If you like, on the map this would be the south, right? Well, this is where Shackleton got to, and he realised there's nothing over here. There's nothing, they were on the wrong side of the island. There's nothing over here. So they had to travel around back to where, you know, where we were. They made landfall and they actually travelled overland. 3 days. They brought supplies to last them for 3 days. 3 of them. They left 3 at the boat, and the 3 of them, the most fit, headed across. And this is where celestial navigation, all of that stuff really comes into its own, because that's what was needed, right? That was absolutely needed. So that's what they did. They travelled across this island. After they made it, so many times they faced death, like straight in the face. There were storms. There was everything, right? You name it, it had it. You know, they were running low on food. They were sick. The water they were drinking was contaminated, obviously. It was just disastrous. But they stayed at it. They kept going. It's incredible when you think about it. They kept going, right? Watch your speed now, Murphy, because the lads ain't keeping up with 200 and odd knots. So we'll slow it down a bit. We'll tighten in here to the right. And I'll drop my speed so you guys can catch up. So Elephant Island was indeed remote, uninhabited and rarely visited by whalers or any other ships. If the party was to return to civilization, it would be necessary to summon help. The only realistic way this could be done was to adapt one of the lifeboats for an 800-mile voyage across the Southern Ocean to South Georgia. Shackleton had abandoned thoughts of taking the party on the less dangerous journey to Deception Island because of the poor physical condition of many of his party. Port Stanley in the Falkland Islands was closer than South Georgia, but it could not be reached as this would have required sailing against the strong prevailing winds. Shackleton selected the boat party himself, Worsley, Crean, McNish and sailors John Vincent and Timothy McCarthy. On instruction from Shackleton, McNish immediately set about adapting the James Caird, improvising tools and materials. Wild was left to be in charge of the Elephant Island party, and instructions were made to make for Deception Island the following spring, should Shackleton not return. Shackleton took supplies, judging that if he had not have been reached within that time, the boat would be lost. It's a 22.5-foot boat. It was launched on the 24th of April 1916. The success of the voyage depended on the pinpoint accuracy of Worsley's navigation, using observations that would have been made by the most unfavourable of conditions. The preventing wind was helpfully northwest, but the heavy sea condition quickly soaked everything in icy water. Soon ice settled thickly on the boat, making her ride sluggishly. On the 5th of May, a northwesterly gale almost caused the boat's destruction as it faced what Shackleton described as the largest waves he had seen in 26 years at sea. On the 8th of May, South Georgia was sighted, and after a 14-day battle with the elements that had driven the boat party to the physical limits, 2 days later, after a prolonged struggle with heavy seas, the hurricane-force winds to the south of the island, they partially struggled ashore at King Haakon Bay. Once they got there, followed by a period of rest and recuperation, while Shackleton pondered the next move. The populated whaling stations of South Georgia lay on the northern coast. To reach them would mean either another boat journey around the island or a land crossing through unexpected interior. The condition of the boat and the physical state of the party, particularly Vincent and McNish, meant that the crossing was the only realistic option. Easy. Look at this, lads. Isn't this incredible? After 5 days, the party took the boat a short distance eastward. Shackleton, Worsley and Crean would undertake the land journey, and the others remaining at what they christened Peggotty Camp, to be picked up later after help had been obtained from the whaling stations. A storm on the 18th of May delayed their start, but by 2 o'clock the following morning the weather was clear and calm, and an hour later the crossing party set out. The party's destination was the whaling station at Stormness, which had been Endurance's last port of call. On their outbound journey, that was roughly 26 miles away across the edge of the Allardyce Range. Another whaling station was known to be at Prince Olaf Harbour, just 6 miles north of Peggotty Camp over eastern terrain, but as far as the party were aware, this was only inhabited during the summer months. Shackleton and his men did not know during their 2-year absence in Antarctica the station owners had begun year-round operations. What? They didn't know. Jesus, that was close. They didn't know. Without a map, the route party chose what was largely conjectural. By dawn, they had ascended to 3,000 feet and could see the northern coast. They were above Possession Bay, which meant they would need to move eastward to reach Stormness, and that's meant the first of several backtrackings that would extend the journey and frustrate the men. At the close of that day, needing to descend to the valley below them before nightfall, they risked everything by sliding down a mountain on a makeshift rope sled. They travelled without rest by moonlight, moving upwards towards a gap in the next mountain's ridge. They travelled about a mile in something like 5 minutes, straight down the slopes. And Shackleton had said, the two guys who were with him, you know, we just want to lie down there, Skipper, we're just getting tired. So he let them sleep. And Shackleton was exhausted himself, but he knew, had he had gone to sleep, no one would have woken up. So he gave them a makeshift rope sledge. He let them sleep for 5 minutes, then he kicked them. He says, right lads, you've been at it for half an hour, let's go. So they didn't know, there was no concept of time. All right, okay. So it was a 5-minute sleep, but he told them they got 30 minutes. Mind over matter and all of this. The next morning, seeing the harbour below them, the party knew that they were at the right path. At 7 o'clock in the morning, they heard a steam whistle sound from Stormness, the first sound created by an outside human agency that had come to our ears since we left 2 years previously. After a difficult descent which involved passage down through freezing waterfall, at last they reached safety. Shackleton wrote, "Why are we descending?" Can we go up the hill? Thanks, machine. That was very close. Very close. Up the hill. It was at that moment he knew he almost died. Autopilot's starting to misbehave. Cyrus has nearly gone into hover mode behind me, look. Jesus. Wow, look at the scenery here, look. Incredible. Where is this now? Shackleton had wrote, I have no doubt that Providence guided us. I know that during the long and raking march of 36 hours over unmanned mountains and glaciers, it seemed to me often that we were 4, not 3. This image of a fourth traveller was echoed in the accounts of Worsley and Crean, and later influenced T.S. Eliot in the writing of his poem The Wasteland. This phenomenon was being reported by other adventurers, and it's known as the third man factor. Ooh. Interesting. Lads, look at that terrain. Isn't it absolutely stunning? Like, what a place to go exploring, right? Yeah, just as well there's no train, Scott, right? Look at that. Ah, lads, that's amazing. That's just beautiful. So Shackleton's first task at arriving was to arrange for his 3 companions to be picked up, the ones he left back at, what was it called, at the camp, Peggotty Camp. It took 4 attempts before Shackleton was able to return to Elephant Island. They actually got massive help from the Chilean government, gave them a ship, and they headed back. Some months later, as they arrived at Elephant Island, it was said that Shackleton was looking through his binoculars and he wouldn't say anything. You know, the captain of the vessel said, the captain of Endurance said Shackleton, you know, his hair turned grey, wrinkles appeared in his face during all of this time. And it was only when they got to Elephant Island, as Shackleton was looking onto the bay, he counted all of his crew. No one was missing. They were all alive. And at that moment, he said the wrinkles went off his face, and Shackleton then sigh of relief. He got all of his crew, all of them, to safety. They were hurt, they were tired, they were sore, they were starving. One fella got frostbite in his toes, but they were all alive. Isn't that absolutely incredible? It's incredible. Why are we climbing? Lock her in there now, Betsy. Come on, plane, you can do it. Absolutely mad. Look at this. These are the lads. The elephant party, look. How they survived. They couldn't go exploring. I mean, there was very little that they could have done, right? But they did. That's absolutely nuts. Let's do some exploring here, lads. So this is the island. This is where they set off from and where they came back to. Isn't it mad? Absolutely mad. And I can't get over the detail of it in the sim. Doesn't it look incredible? Okay, will you stop climbing now? She was behaving and now it's not. Flight level change. Just hold your altitude. There we go. Right. King Haakon Bay, where they landed on, should be along here somewhere.
Can I do the refund?
Murph, it's all about power settings and this. Has to be, constant. Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, we're okay there now. We're getting used to it. Okay. Isn't it just like, it's fascinating, lads, isn't it? This whole region and like the whole story. Kieran Niall, good to see you. Welcome in, buddy. So I reckon we're gonna head inland here, lads. Like, isn't it mad that we have this sort of we have this in the sim, like? Oh, 100% super tie. It's interesting, Scott gets a lot of the glory, but he essentially got everyone killed. Yeah. Like, it's mad when you think about it. Like, it's an absolute story of survival. And when you consider what was available to them in terms of technology, in terms of supplies, like, it's mad, absolutely mad. I've just read about the third man factor. It's fascinating. Yeah. Kenneth is here. Good to see you, Kenneth. So after it was all done and dusted, they got home, and almost immediately the crew signed up and went to war. The First World War. This is 1917. Straight into it. Shackleton went to America. I think he was working as an advisor to the Navy. So they went straight into wartime. Instantly. Some of them died during the war. Others were injured. And Shackleton, you know, he still wasn't done. In 1921, I think, he went off on another expedition. That was his plan. I think they were to go to New Zealand. But only a short while into it, he passed away. He died of a heart attack, and he's buried on this island. Mad. Captain Grumman, good to see you. Flew last night in the PMDG. Today I started up the same, loaded the same aircraft, CTD. Captain Grumman, no idea, man. Where are they installed from? Are they Marketplace? Murph, I asked earlier, did you read The Worst Journey in the World? I didn't, Rave, I didn't. Can you imagine going through all of this, surviving, only to go straight to war? Chill, yeah, it's nuts, man. Rave, yeah, thanks for that, dude. We'll have a look. So they would have landed, this is the terrain. They ascended up to 3,000 feet and started heading down the way, look. Look at the detail here, look. Isn't it only gorgeous? Jesus, look at that, lads. Somewhere that doesn't have airports. There's nothing here. Beaver, good to see you. How old was he? He wasn't old at all. He died on the 5th of January 1922 in South Georgia. He was aged 47. 47. Jesus, that was close. Look at the views, though. Hang on a second. Look at the state of these views. This is gorgeous. Isn't it just frightening? And look, like, this is what I absolutely love about all of this, right? I mean, here we are, sitting in our homes, you know, your man cave, your office, your games room, your living room, whatever, it doesn't matter. Here we all are, miles away from one another, right? Like, miles away, and yet we're all together exploring this. Mind blown,
Hello
right?
there.
Bearcat Bob, welcome in. Angle of Attack, hello from Seville, good to see you. Bearcat Bob, hope you're well, buddy. Patrick's watching from under me bed. Like, isn't it just absolutely insane when you kind of grasp that? Here we all are together, doing a thing, learning, exploring, witnessing. Absolutely bananas, lads. And like, look at this scenery. I could be better, but I'm here. But that's okay. Listen, it's the weekend. We don't care now. For the next while, no worries are allowed in. And not one word about the Romans today. Thank you, Scott.
Good nooning.
Yes. I haven't done one of these in a while. Right, lads, what we need to do, you need to put in where it is you're from. Where are you watching us from on the planet? This would be interesting. Jesus, look at this. Is ready now. Location. Where you're all from. And I shall attempt to read it out and not sound like a muppet. Spoiler alert, I'm going to sound like a muppet. Are we ready? Jesus. I instantly regret this decision. Oh, Jesus, right. Oh, God, the screen moves so fast. Right, here we go. We're ready now. We have Guernsey, a living room, Texas, the Lone Star State, Wiltshire in the UK, Liverpool, Denmark, San Jose, somewhere, Canada, Central Scotland, Jesus, Brighton, South Carolina, Quebec, Arizona, Hertfordshire, me living room, New Zealand, Northern Germany, Devon, the Isle of Man, Cove, Boston, the Netherlands, Gosford, Spain, looking through me keyhole, what? The Netherlands, Ontario, swinging London, baby, Essex, Washington State, Sonoma in California, Dundee, Scotland, Patrick still under me bed, Salt Lake City, Ohio, Belgium, Glasgow, Washington, Scotland again, Chicago, Ithaca in Kansas, Nottingham in the UK, Canada again, Germany, Lake Elmo, the Peak District, Stockholm, Sweden, Israel, Dublin, Ohio, Barbados, Anchorage. We have Limburg, Plymouth, Sussex, Dublin, Switzerland, Albuquerque, Kent, I nearly said Quent, County Kildare, Wiltshire, Halifax, Nova Scotia, up here with the co-pilot, Vancouver, Southern Nevada, Florida, the Pit of Misery, Northwest Scotland, North Devon, Kerry, Southampton, New Forest, watching over me shoulder. Hayden, don't follow her over soft terrain. South Africa, Mayo in the UK. There's a right bunch of lads here tonight. We have a right bunch of lads here tonight. Belgium, Southport, Oslo, Milton Keynes, more Chicago. Man alive. The State of Confusion. Puerto Rico, Lawton Zoo, Jersey. Absolutely amazing. Welcome into the Fireflies. Yo! Mad. All the locations we're watching in. Prime, Jesus, how about that place called the Arn? I wanted to know. No. We call it Wales for short. Yeah, Jesus. Look at the scenery here. Isn't this just gorgeous, look? Absolutely gorgeous. Incredible stuff. Isn't it amazing? absolute, like, my mind is blown when you think about it. I love this about Flight Sim. Like, this is just deadly, isn't it? When you consider all the locations we're in, and we're all here. I love it, man. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right. Also, so many people bear witness to the E-tree. That is me. CP, I've just seen that, man. They just hear the talk about it. It's an emotional roller coaster. Very sad news here, lads. Wait till you hear this. This is very sad. So we're just getting news now. Jim Lovell, Apollo 13 astronaut, and Apollo 8 as well, has passed away. Very sad. The age of 97. Go handy now, Murphy. You'll be joined him fairly quick. He was 97. Amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Jim Lovell, and like, he's worked with NASA for years and years. NASA posted saying, "We are saddened by the passing of Jim Lovell, commander of Apollo 13 and a 4-time spaceflight veteran. Lovell's life and work inspired millions. His courage under pressure helped forge our path to the moon and beyond, a journey that continues today." The agency also shared a statement from Lovell's family which read, "We are enormously proud of his amazing life and career accomplishments, highlighted by his legendary leadership in pioneering human spaceflight. But to all of us, he was dad, granddad, and the leader of our family. Most importantly, he was a hero. We will miss his unshakable optimism, his sense of humour, and the way he made each of us feel that we could do the impossible. Truly one of a kind." Ah, that's really sad, isn't it? Amazing, man. Yeah, amazing. I remember seeing that photo before. That was Lovell and Hanks when they were working on the movie Apollo 13. Incredible movie. Jesus. Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. I only saw the text coming in from the missus. He was well known for giving out to folks who discounted the moon landing. Yeah. I think the whole crew is gone now, really? Jesus. Right, so where we are now, 3,000 feet. This is where the lads hiked. They hiked across this very place. Crazy, right? Like, how do you even navigate here? You know what I mean? Crazy. Man alive, it's crazy. Alright, continue on. Easy now. Great read. Jim Lovell's book, Lost Moon, an excellent read. How different the stories are, but also how similar when you think about it. Endurance and Apollo 13. Technically, both were a failure, but they were a glorious failure, a successful failure, if you like. Would that be right? That's kind of mad when you think about it, isn't it? Okay, so this is Stanley Peak is up here on the left. Fred Hayes is still alive. Heroic is the word, yeah. Amazing exploration stories. Isn't it mad, like how many people prior to tonight was aware of the Endurance and the Antarctic expedition? Have you heard about it before? Maybe you've watched a movie on it or something, or even Shackleton. Did you learn about Shackleton in school or college or whatever? A few guys have, yeah. I too have had many glorious failures. NM Flyer, right? They were inspirational failures. Yeah, very well said. I was aware for sure, but ashamed to say I didn't know the whole story. I heard of it, but not in detail. I binge watched all the documentaries. Consort, nice. I read a lot about them when I was commuting to London. Ooh. Gotta wonder why we've never landed on the moon since. Johnny Man. School way back in the day. And a love for documentaries, yeah. Hey, Croddy, yeah, 100%. Cheers, Kubi. Being Scottish, we specialise in glorious failures. They'll have a model of the Endurance. Nice. There's a recording of your man's voice, Shackleton. Yeah. So there's a new documentary on Disney Plus. I listened to the audio book about this journey. Unbelievable listen. Oh, Jody, nice. Yeah. Quite far away, to be fair. It's mad, Hayden, isn't it? You once lived on the corner of Shackleton Road. Ooh. McManster says, my high school history teacher was a sailor. Nice, they thought it. Oh yeah, Kieran. Could you imagine how cold, right? There's Muse ahead of us. Oh man, just look at this scenery. Isn't it absolutely epic? Right lads, there is a beach down there. Do we favour another landing? This looks promising. Fred Hayes is 91. Really? Historic Wings, good to see you. Shackleton's Journey, great idea for a stream. Yeah, thanks, man. It's cool. And like, okay, granted, look, scenery-wise, Antarctic, forget it. There's nothing down there. Aerosoft did a bit of scenery for it before, but it doesn't play nice in the sim. But here, I was surprised how detailed here is. I mean, look at it, lads. It's unbelievable what this technology can do, isn't it? You have a sheer glacier cliff there. Nighthawk, are you using live weather, yeah? Who's the one man you never want to travel with? Tom Hanks, Jim Lovell, Captain Phillips, Castaway in the terminal. Wasn't he in Greyhound as well? Hey, Crotty, yeah, I've read into that before, yeah. There was a board game created about Shackleton's journey. It's an epic game too. You have to survive against all odds. That's nuts, man. Oh, you found a town? Ooh. Wonder how it looks in X-Plane? Yeah, forget it. Alan Mead is here, good to see you. It's amazing scenery, yeah. It is, like, it's up, isn't it, lads? Like, we found another playground for sure in the sim. Like, I've never visited here in the sim. And I imagine, well, I don't know, has anyone been down here before in the sim? Round to the right we go. Rennie, Kilburn, Wombat, incredible formation flying, lads. Isn't it mad? Like, isn't this mad when you think about it, right? How long are we flight simming now? We're 5 years into, like, the next gen flight sims. We've never been down here. Some did, but Jesus, some did, but the vast majority of us, I'd say, no. Oh, Scott, 100%. This is what it allows us to do. It's crazy. Historic Wings, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do you know what Wombat is flying? He's in the, what's the name of it? The Dornier. What server? Michael, we're on the Southeast Asian server. This is what I explained, Max? Yeah. I remember when I first got the new flight sim, I always had several places I visited to see how they look like. The pyramids. Yeah. I love the way it brings such different people together. Oh, dude, it's amazing, isn't it? I love that. And like, we all have different interests. Some people will be into this, some people won't be. But like, of all the flights we do, it's mad, isn't it? I love that. Right, into this little inlet we go. Because there is a beach up here, if anyone wants to try an old hard landing. Solid landing. Yeah, that's the one. I mean, look at the detail. It's gorgeous, man. Like, of all the places, like the Aleutian Islands, that was an eye opener for me. But this place, and like, okay, aerial surveys have been conducted here, aircraft have flown to here, but they were always either amphibious aircraft like what we're in, or they'd be launched by boats or ships. You know what I mean? Like, it's quite staggering when you think about it, you know what I mean? Alright, let's lower the landing gear. And let's see if we can do a landing. Failing... Oh, well, hang on. We could just land on the water and then gear up. Or gear down. But let's see what we can do here, right? There's Nut over there. Let's see what he does. Ooh, bit of a tumble. Cyrus is over there. What's the ground like, Cyrus? Are we in trouble? And it's mad, like, they set out from Plymouth to start this expedition 110 years ago today. It's mad. Jesus. This isn't going to turn out too nice, I'd say. Easy. 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 There's loads of rocks, and there's a flying talrow. Jesus. Right, let's try this. There's a bit of a, it looks like a path, doesn't it? Oh, we're shagged. Oh no, we could be okay. Oh, Jesus. Hard landing. The ground isn't too bad. All right. Man! That Wombat? That's Wombat. I can see it on his wing. Come on, Wombat! Jesus, we only barely made that.
So look at this big Aegis.
Right? What broke my heart was when they returned, most of them immediately drafted for the trenches. Yeah. More than just a few ships headed out of Plymouth, absolutely. There's Muse. Man, Muse. Yeah, I saw this from the air. It's a little inlet, but I thought that would have been as smooth as you can get, which doesn't actually look bad, but it's proper sand here. Look. Man, Rex. Yeah, we're not actually too bad here. Look. Like, when you consider... Hello there. Like, when you consider, right, where we are, I mean, look at this. Look at the location here, look. Like, if you were to guess... Jesus, look how bad the LOD is. It's absolutely chronic. If you were to guess where it was we are, never in a million years would you know this is where we are. You know what I mean? I mean, look at that, lads. Jesus. Like, if we want to get a taste of live time and weather, check it out, right? Okay, it's pure nighttime. Bring it back. There's only like a handful of hours here. A handful of hours of daylight. Isn't that mad? It's snowing. The sun is doing its best to try and pierce. Like, look at the state of that. Jesus. Isn't that amazing?
Hello there.
Jesus, though. Isn't it mad? Like, this is according to, obviously, the sim, but, like, that's wherever the weather station is or by satellite. Time of day as well, like, bloody hell. You gotta love what the sim can do. And even the sounds. Like, there's nothing here. Alright, there's nothing at all here. Jesus, what am I doing? Out of that. Into this. Right, we'll stick her back to my weather. I'll kind of go for this neck of the woods. Right. Look at that, though. Isn't it mad? Absolutely friggin' nuts. Right. Wasn't that dark? I left us in this position. Something like that. Something like that. Right. And it's only going to get better. It's nuts, isn't it? What will the sim be like in 5 years? Exactly. Hey, Craig is here. Good to see you, Flyer Craig. Happy Friday, buddy. Hope you're well. Right, into the water. Gear up. Jesus, we felt that. Not your flaps. Let's go flying. All right. Oh, she's bouncy. Oh, hang on, my trim is shagged. Oh no! Trim is shagged. We're alive. I don't know how. We're alive. Right, we're okay. What happened there? Who's in charge? Right, out of this mad bay we go. Oh, Johnny Mon is a great airplane, man. Not entirely happy with the time of day. There you go. Right, friends. The sounds of the chopper are nuts. Look at that scenery, man. It's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? Jesus. Stunning beyond the realms of stunning. Look at it, man. Look at the detail on it. Amazing. Jesus, that's gorgeous. Dan, put in D in front of Two-Tone Murphy. The letter D should do it. It's only a matter of time, Robin. A ship sim, a flight sim, only a matter of time. Man alive. What an incredible, incredible island to find. Hello, fireflies. Ah, look at that, lads. absolutely amazing. Jeez, the state. It's actually, it's British overseas territory is where we're flying. Would you believe it? It's absolutely savage, lads, isn't it? It's ridiculous. Right, I slowed down, don't worry. Jared is here, good to see you, buddy. Tilly, I stuck on the old brakes there for you. I was going a little bit fast. Man, isn't this... it's just incredible. It's incredible. Right. Back to King Edward's Point, and then we'll ramble in that way. Stunning. Thought they only had the Falklands. No, they've a lot of territories down in Antarctica. Tis looking now absolutely gorgeous. Okay, we're nearly there. We'll head back to where it all began. There it is, over there. So our story doesn't end here, would you believe? Not at all. You see, something else happened, right, recently, and this is very important, right? Endurance 22, it was launched by the Falklands Maritime Heritage Trust, armed with an autonomous underwater vehicle built by Saab, right? And capable of scanning the sea floor in hostile conditions. So wait till you hear this. A century after Shackleton's funeral, the Falklands Maritime Heritage Trust launched Endurance 22, an expedition to locate, survey and film Endurance, Sir Ernest Shackleton's legendary ship that sank in November 1915 in the Weddell Sea. It wasn't just a treasure hunt, it was a scientific mission with archaeological respect. They aimed to document the wreck without disturbing it, observing Antarctic preservation laws. The departure came from Cape Town on the 5th of February 2022 aboard the ice-strengthened research vessel, the S.A. Agulhas II, South African ship. The expedition included 65 specialists, marine archaeologists, engineers, scientists, subsea technologists, and historians, as well as 45 crew members, all supported by an anonymous $10 million donation. What? The team relied highly on hybrid autonomous underwater vehicles, AUVs, such as Saab's Sabertooth, paired with multi-beam echo sounders to scan under the thick Weddell Sea ice. Navigational insight came from Captain Frank Worsley's original sinking coordinates. Modern experts refined his positional data to narrow the search area. On March 5th, 2022, exactly 100 years after Shackleton's burial, the wreck was finally located 3,000 metres deep in the Weddell Sea. That's roughly 4 to 5 nautical miles south of Worsley's estimated position. That's just shy of 10,000 feet, right? The ship was found upright, intact, with the name Endurance still clearly legible on the stern. Remarkable preservation owed to the cold, oxygen-poor environment and absence of wood-degrading organisms. High-definition imagery and a 3D scan captured the detailed state of the wreck, preserving not just the hull but also objects like portholes, a ship's wheel, rigging, even personal gear left untouched. The site, now protected as a historical site and monument under the 1959 Antarctic Treaty, ensuring no physical disturbances of the wreck. Beyond archiving a piece of polar history, the expedition collected valuable scientific data about sea ice, marine preservation, and environmental conditions, feeding insights for climate models and future exploration. The mission also featured global outreach, engaging thousands of students and live broadcasts and educational resources developed by organisations like the Royal Geographical Society. That's absolutely nuts, isn't it? You can learn a lot more about the crew on that particular mission. It's fascinating. That was a documentary we watched the other day. But it's nuts. Yeah. We'll show that now in a bit. It's very cool, isn't it? Retriever Neil, good to see you. Do you mind showing me a top-down view of the map? I can't work out where we are. Yeah. So, Jesus. How do I do this now? It's called South Georgia and the South Sandwich Islands. I know. Maps. Right, Craig. So, geographic location: South America, the Falklands. Come over here to the right hand side, you have South Georgia. And it all comes into this neck of the woods here, a place called Grytviken or Viken. It is absolutely stunning. Now, I've never seen it before in Flight Sim. I'd even say Microsoft haven't even checked out this one. Nuts, right? Right, we need to hang a right here. Jesus, Murphy, nearly lost it. Ah, look at the formation flyers and I've ruined it. Sorry, lads. Immediate right turn, Murphy. Wrong way, Corrigan strikes again. Oops. Right. We nearly missed King Edward's Point. Jay-Z wouldn't have been happy about that. Right, rumble in. It is beautiful. There's the coordinates. Come on. Cheers, Muse. The absolute ledge. Right, let us that be our map, right? So we're going to plan an hour stop here now in a mo. 60 likes on YouTube tonight, lads. Thank you very, very much indeed. Amazing. I don't know which is more amazing, the scenery or the community of pilots we've created. Not at all, Historic Wings. Our community, everyone says it's about their own community, but our community, man, unbelievable. Such a wide range of backgrounds, professions, skills, characters. That's what we do. It's amazing. Rave, thank you very much indeed. Morphus Pilot got his tier 1 sub thanks to Rave Automata. Cheers, man. Right, so we need to enter over here to the right hand side, lads. Like, what a place. What a place to go exploring, right? Right, horse it in here now. We see what happens. Easy now. Duxford veterans. Mad, right? So, Grytviken, hope I'm pronouncing that correct. This is where Shackleton was buried. It's mad. Dan can't get multiplayer working. Jesus, Dan, you're having a night of it, you poor old devil. Yeah, it's somewhere between 600 and 800 miles between the Falklands and Jordan. Yeah, there is. Grytviken. Okay, cheers, Malky. Grytviken. Right. Let's see what happens. It is Ibok, yes. Can we call ourselves the Wild Bunch? Alright. Easy does it.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus. Easy now. Man, Frank and the Fuga. Jeez, Frank put serious time into that Fuga, doesn't he? Easy. 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 Alright. Smash down. Reverse. Johnny Mon, thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Cheers, buddy. I was advised on the pronunciation by a crew member of one of Her Majesty's ships during a 1982 visit. No way! Johnny Mon, thank you very much indeed for the super chat. You're very kind, sir. Look at this, lads. Look. Isn't that only savage? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I tell you, it'd be a great island to do a couple of missions from. Chopper missions and all that. Or even create a few missions using the mission hub. You know what I mean? Oh, Jesus, Murphy overcooked it. He's now. I think tonight we can call ourselves Ernest Egypts. It's amazing. It really, really is. And to think, you know, 110 years ago, when they started from Plymouth to where we are tonight, we're spread out all over the world, and we're able to do this together, learn about it together, fly together. It's incredible. Yeah, they could, Nighthawk. They absolutely could. Jesus. Kieran Niall, thank you very much indeed, you legend. I tried to drop my landing gear down, but I did it wrong. There, I did it right. Look, brilliant. Oh, my engines are shagged. Kieran Niall, thank you very, very much indeed, buddy. Insane super chat donation, man. Right, let's just edge our way forward here. Don't run over places, Murph. Jesus. Buildings, can we explore? Well, there's not a whole lot to explore here. The graveyard is actually up the hill there. So, right, lads, what I recommend...
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Let us shut down our engines, right? And we shall continue the rest of this journey on foot. Yeah? So, engines shut down. And we just have to wait for everyone's engines to be shut down, right? And we shall go collectively as a group up to where he's buried, right? But before we do that, I want to show you, this is the ship, the Agulas. This is the ship, right? So this is the science vessel, and this is the ship they took to visit, right? It's an icebreaker dedicated to Miriam Makeba. Look at that there. Now, here's one for you, right? So during the mission, when this gadget went out to find Endurance, wait to hear this, right? It too got caught and stuck in the ice, right? But modern technology and like the skipper's ingenuity, the skipper of this was just nuts. You can all see the big crane. On board the ship, they had a container of 25,000 litres of Jet A1 fuel in case aircraft had to land, because she had two helipads, or she has two helipads. But what the skipper did, in order to break and free up the ship from the ice, they'd put the heavy weight in the container on the crane and literally swing it from side to side, causing a roll of the entire ship, which was enough to break it out of the ice, and then they can start moving it again. Imagine if Endurance had that. Like, what? That's like, that ship is like top of the range, most modern friggin' technology you have, and that's how they break it out of the ice if they get stuck. They put the heavy weight in front of the ship and they just rotate it left to right, and it goes like full traverse. You know what I mean? Like, 0 to 90 degrees, back to 0, over to 270 degrees. A full left and right motion. And by doing that, it allows the ship it could take a couple of hours. It allows it to start rolling. And by doing so, it's breaking up it's nuts, isn't it? That's nuts. I love that. I loved that. So that's the machine. But what I want to show you now, as we all assemble onto this position, we're going to travel on foot. I want to show you the actual footage of what they found when they sent the AUVs, I think they're called, down to have a look at the ship. This is staggering, right? This is quite staggering. So where is this now? Bit of music maestro here, and well, let's watch this one. Isn't that amazing? since it sank, so 103 years ago, would that be right? 2022, exactly 100 years. Like, mind blown. And like, look how clear it is. Isn't it staggering? Like, that's what the footage, like, whoa, look at this. And like, the ship's wheel is there. They found the flare gun, right? Would love to see all the video from the dive. Yeah, 100%. They found boots. They found plates. Look at the chains there. Like, it's just mad. And even the instruments were all working. Just stunning. Absolutely stunning. I mean, just debris all over the place. See where the mast collapsed? There's marine life down there, the likes of which we haven't a clue. That's 9,000 feet underwater. And just to put a bit of context in this, Titanic is about 1,000 feet more. Titanic is 4,000 meters down. That's 3,000 meters down. Isn't that nuts? And look how well preserved. There's only 2 years on this versus Titanic. And when you look at the remains of Titanic, of how, destroyed it is and marine life eaten away at it, and you compare it to this, all wood, it's remarkably intact. Hayden, thank you very much indeed. Look at the plates, look. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, it's nuts. It's mad. And like, lads, this was only found in 2022. This is so new. So new. Ricardo, no, she sank in, well, what did they say? What was it? 100 years to the sinking. Oh, wait, 1916. Sorry. Did she sink in 1916? And ooh, where was the Endurance? 21st of November 1915 is when it sank. Yeah. So almost 100 years ago. Isn't it mad, isn't it? And look at the footage we have. Like, Titanic has nothing on this. And like, they were, you know, the whole Las Vegas crap that went on with Titanic, and I don't mean the movie, I mean afterwards, you know, Titanic Inc. or whatever it was a company that was, you know, doing all the exhibits, and they were traveling around the world with the actual exhibits they lifted up and all this sort of jazz. Like, they have, like, this is next level, do you know? And like, there's all sorts of laws governing, like, not that many people would actually manage to get down to that depth. Then again, they did with Titanic. But yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Did you not do your maths in school? We didn't have a math in school. Brilliant. But yeah, the exhibit is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area right now. Like, a part of me says, yes, save it. I don't, like, people say it's a graveyard and whatnot. And yeah, I totally get that. But like, artifacts and stuff, particularly stuff we can learn from. You know, if you can't, if there's nothing to learn from it, you say, well, sure, look, leave it there. But in case of Titanic, that's going to be gone. Gone. You know what I mean? 110. What did I say? 100 years. 110 years. What did I say? Almost 110 years. Yeah. Isn't it mad? It's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. It's just wild. It's absolutely wild. So what we're going to do, we shall travel by LPC, leather personnel carriers, up this way, lads. Let's go for it. And what we're going to do, we're going to walk up to where the graveyard is. Or jog. It could be jog. You said almost 100. Good man, Willie. Yeah, I forgot to carry the one. Jesus, I'll edit that bit out. Don't worry. That'll all be edited, right? Come smartly now. Up the divil you. Follow me. I don't think that house is there, to be honest, but sure, listen. Prime, yeah, I've been reading up on that. They're saying Titanic is going to be, like, for what we know, it could be, it's not a case that it's going to be completely rusted. I think they were saying that could take slightly longer. I think the problem is the shifting sands on the ocean floor. They'll cover it and then it should be lost. But they were saying, like, a lot of, I think the structure of Titanic, it's not going to last a terrible long time. We know that, but Jesus, there's always one. Who's that? Georgie, you ran me over. Bloody hell. Yeah, there's all sorts of marine life that are destroying it, you know. So, now there's no scenery here, obviously, right? Where's the goose for this? Yeah, James Cameron did us a huge favour. He really did. He really did. So where we are here, lads, this spot right here, this is the graveyard.
That's a big 10-4, good buddy.
You don't mean the film? Yeah, definitely not the film. Cameron he's a phenomenal marine archaeologist. You know. Running in this sim is like how you run in your dreams, right? Wendo the Cheetah, welcome in, buddy. And Hayden gifting a tier 1 sub. Thank you so very much indeed. Hope you're well, buddy. So, do I have a video of this? Where is this now? Now, let me see. Cemetery. Endurance 22. Do we have this? Don't know who they are. Don't know who they are. Where is this now? This out here. It was on Shackleton's grave, you know, we saw that. Shackleton's grave. Do. Trying to get a little video showing you the grave. Where is this now? Hang on now, we have a video of it somewhere. Do. Shackleton's grave. I'm just trying to look for decent a tribute to Ernest Shackleton. That could work. Let's have a look. Hang on there now. Decent sized hands. Wait. What? Who? I do like Cameron's hobby is more interesting than his films. Yeah, 100%. That's amazing. Amazing. Where's this now? We'll have a look at these guys. So a shout out to these guys. Blue Banana Films. Don Swanson. He made a thing with all sorts of music that'll get us in trouble. So shh. That's the wrong movie. Our first view of this is someone who's been there in the real world, yeah? Can't play their music though. 1080. Ready to go explore. So this is where we are in the sim. Isn't that mad? There is a house there. Mad. Gibbo doesn't know what he's missing. I can only do this when Gibbo's away. Brilliant. So it's first stop Shackleton's grave, yeah. With obstacles. Sea lions all over the place, look. Absolutely mad, isn't it? Look at them mad devils. Can't you just let us sleep? What's the sound like? Oh yeah, they're chatting away. We'll have a listen to them. You can't play that music. It's the wrong movie. There it is there, look. There's his grave. And it was said, where is this now? Entered life, yeah, buried. There was a plaque here. Ernest Shackleton, and it said he was buried by his friends or something like that. It's written on the grave. Isn't that mad, isn't it? And in 2022, the Endurance 22, they obviously came up here. There was a big to do. They put the photographs down of you know endurance as well, and yeah, that's kind of mad, isn't it? When they just show you the area and like it was a whaling station. Look at that. Go back, Murph. Shackleton's right hand man, Frank Wilde, was buried there as well. Mad, isn't it? So here we are in a flight sim, many thousands of miles away from a place like this. Probably none of us would get the chance in the real world to visit this place. Well, tonight we've seen it. We've experienced virtually a hint of it. Mad, isn't it? I love that. I absolutely love that. The fact that like that's the ruins of all the whaling station. And that's what I was saying, like, whaling stations were so important back then because a lot of the materials they got from whales, funny enough, they were used to help supply all sorts. Look, that's mad, like. A terrible business, whaling, but that's what they did back in the day. It was a whaling station. That was a factory built for that. Take an expensive Antarctic cruise, probably a stop along the way, possibly. Yeah. That's all about the whaling station. Hang on a second. Flensing plan. Whales were cut up on a large wooden platform. The plan that covered this open space. This is the centre of the station. A 50-ton electric winch removed at the top of the plan pulled the whales from the sea up on the iron slipway behind you. The blubber was removed by flensers armed with long-handled knives. Jesus. On a good day, about 30 fin whales, each 18 meters or 60 foot long, could be processed in 24 hours. They yielded 200 tons of oil. Jesus, then Greta wouldn't be happy about this place. Huh? Absolutely not. But thankfully it's no longer in operation. Oh yeah, like that was industrialized whaling. That like crazy, right? But that's what they did. There was no talk of conservationists or the environment or any of that jazz. I mean, that just didn't exist. It was a different time. Whale vertebrae, Jesus. Replica of the James Cairn is there. Shackleton's ride back from Elephant Island. Mad, isn't it? That's a replica of it, but still. Good to see that they have a bit of a museum there as well. That's a nice touch. There's a church on site, a Norwegian church. That's mad, isn't it? Built in 1913, look. The Wales Church. It's just mad. The old church bell and the library. Jeez, could you imagine some of the books in there, look? Man alive. So we've all visited there. Isn't that amazing? What you doing Friday night? Jesus, waiting to tell you. What did you do? I went out and walked the dog and you know what I mean? Welcome to South Georgia Post Office. Leo Terum Propate Pro Treat. Post Office. Cool. And a museum. And there's a bust of Shackleton. In a class, isn't it? The Larson Room. It's mad, isn't it? Yeah, pretty cool. Absolutely cool. So, like, you can study up, like, there's way more. There's loads of free documentaries you can check up on this as well. If you're into it, you learn a little bit, you learn an awful lot more. I've given you snippets of it, to be fair, right? In all my writings. And what else? So, a little bit about the island just before we go, right? South Georgia, a remote sub-Antarctic island in the South Atlantic Ocean, part of the British Overseas Territory of South Georgia and the South Sandwich Islands. It lies about 1,400 kilometres east-southeast of the Falkland Islands. Rugged, mountainous and glaciated, peaks over 2,900 metres with steep coastal cliffs and fjords. There's no permanent civilian population. There's staff at a research station and museum work on a rotational basis. It was discovered and mapped, first recorded by the landings of Captain James Cook in 1775, who claimed it for Britain. The name South Georgia honours King George III. Whaling and sealing era from the early 1900s, South Georgia became a hub of industrial whaling. The Grytviken whaling station, founded by Norwegian Carl Anton Larsen in 1904, was the first permanent settlement. At its peak, hundreds of men lived here seasonally, processing whales and seals. The industry collapsed in the mid-1960s. Many rusting remains of whaling stations still stand, especially in Grytviken and Stormness. This was Shackleton's last port of call before heading into the Weddell Sea in December of 1914, and after the Endurance disaster, Shackleton returned to South Georgia in May 1916, landing on its uninhabited south coast, crossed the island's unmapped inland mountains to Stormness whaling station to get help. Shackleton died here in 1922 and is buried in the Grytviken cemetery. Today, it's managed by the government of South Georgia and South Sandwich Islands, headquartered in King Edward Point. That's just around the corner. The South Georgia Museum, housed in the former whaling manager's villa, tells the story of exploration, whaling, and wildlife conservation. There are no airports. The only way in is by ship or by helicopter from research vessels. It's a popular stop for Antarctic cruise ships due to its history and wildlife. It's one of the richest wildlife regions in the world. Penguins, king, gentoo, macaroni, and chinstrap penguins nest in huge colonies. Seals, Antarctic fur seals, and elephant seals are abundant. Birds, the wandering albatross, South Georgian pipit, and many seabirds. Whales, including the humpback and southern right, are commonly seen offshore. It does have occasional landings by ski-equipped aircraft supporting research and helicopters, mainly used from supply runs into inland areas. And of course, what we've done in Flight Sim, well, we kind of flew them all here to go exploring tonight. Mad, isn't it? You know, for their furs. Yeah, so see, it's actually very interesting, right? So if you were to say whale hunting for war resources. So get this. Whaling was heavily utilised during the war to supply vital oil resources, particularly by Britain. Norway, though neutral, controlled a large whaling fleet in British territory, allowing the British to secure a large portion of oil supply at a low cost. Whale oil was used for lighting, impregnating ship ropes and sails, and as a lubricant for machinery. It also played a role in producing soap and other essential products. Even after the First World War, whaling continued to be a significant industry. For example, in the aftermath of World War II, Japan used retrofitted military vessels to hunt whales in Antarctica to address food shortages. But they had a whale of a time. Whale of a time. A 13-day cruise on Viking is about €14,000 per person. Let's all go together. Right? It is absolutely insane. It's incredible. This whole journey tonight, lads, I've really enjoyed it. It is, without question, some of the most stunning scenery I've seen in the sim. And considering we're at a location with no aviation infrastructure whatsoever, at all. You don't even get commercial flights down this neck of the woods. There's nothing out here. We're 800 miles away from friggin' the Falklands. Like, there's nothing out here. Isn't it mad? It's absolutely stunning. And just class. It's amazing that this actually exists in the sim in this sort of detail. It's staggering. It really, really is. Where there's a whale, there's a way. Muse fan is on fire tonight, isn't he? He's on fire. But yes, lads, a very different sort of Friday night. But get a load of those lums. Then there's those mountains. Oh, behave. Colonel Fork, it's good to see you, buddy. Happy Friday to you, mate. An 81-day cruise on Viking from the Arctic to Antarctic, £62,000 per person. I better get saving. Kirong, yes, yes. You're welcome. Ah, Jesus, Muse, huh? Ah, well, Muse, how are you getting on? Brilliant. Well, fantastic. But anyway, guys, yeah, it's been quite a different Friday night to our usual kind of letting our hair down, but I love this stuff. I mean, this is exploration, it was history, it was flying somewhere we're not supposed to. I love it. Somewhere new, untouched, and now, well, we all bear the memories, and we've learned a bit about Shackleton, endurance, and the crew. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I want to thank you all so terribly much for tuning in. I'll probably be back streaming this Sunday because I want to fly on Sunday. I've missed the Vatsin flight from the lads last night, so expect a stream on Sunday. We're streaming then on Monday, and then we'll have a double header on Tuesday. We'll have some flying during the day and some driving at night. Then I'm going on my vacation. We're away to Spain then next Wednesday, and we'll be gone from Wednesday the 13th, and we're back home on the 23rd. So that's our new plan. So yeah, that's the mission, right? And let's see how it goes. But lads, I want to thank you all so very, very much indeed for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had fun. The sim behaved. Hopefully you didn't have too many issues either. And we're, as I said, we're getting very close to Sim Update 3, I would imagine. So let's see how it goes. The support tonight was absolutely insane. There was a level 8 hype train. There was just nuts. And all the support on YouTube as well. Thank you very, very much indeed. So yeah, you don't really mean that, do you? Muse, he's making a proper that doesn't even work, a whale out of you. I'm a whale now. I'll be back on Sunday though, so guys, have an awesome weekend, and we shall catch you then on Sunday at some stage. Keep your eye on Discord. That's what we'll be hanging out on Discord. I'm on a roll here. This is brilliant. It was a level 9, wasn't it, Super Tie? Jeez. Well, if Super Tie said it was a level 9, it was. Thank you for an extraordinary evening. You are more than welcome. Lads, thank you all so very, very much indeed. Right, lads, I'm away now. It was a whaley fun time. See you later. Ah, Jesus. Good luck to you. We're almost supersonic. Well, we're only at 400 knots. That was the most cinematic anticlimax ever. Yeah, but hang on, give it time. We're doing it. Ah, you're gonna miss the ground, you big ape. Hang on. Bank angle. Just put it in the ground, Murph. Stop showing off. Because it does have crash physics. Watch. This'll surely blow up. All is well in the realm. I promise you can make... Oh, there it is. It landed like a dart. And now it's fine again. Yeah, we broke the plane. We absolutely broke the plane. Yes. Right, the last thing I want to... First on the 7. Hang on, it's all gone pear-shaped. Although we're getting better now. Oh, it's so good as well. Gin-covered table with cordial. Wait, I don't need that anymore. I'm not with that bank. Oop. That's like old technology.